Jimmy Johnson once said that he might not be a good man, but he was a pretty good wizard. Indeed, only a wizard could have accomplished what he did between a pair of press conferences 5 years apart.
I'm proud to be the head football coach for the Dallas Cowboys. And I'm excited to be the head football coach of the Dallas Cowboys. I know that there could have been better circumstances as far as me coming into this position, but I would hope that people would be as excited about this organization, about this football team as what I am. We have mutually decided that I would no longer be the head football coach with the Dallas Cowboys.
He inherited a program in its darkest hour, but he knew in time, his time would come. He was a man who reached for the stars, make that cowboy stars, and discovered a galaxy bursting with them. From worst to first in just 4 years wasn't enough. He wanted to do what only 3 other coaches in NFL history had done: win back-to-back Super Bowls. His legacy won't be what he did, but how passionately he did it.
Oh, how do you turn it around like that?
Replacing the only head coach in Dallas Cowboys history was no doubt a thankless task. Tom Landry and Cowboy fans were accustomed to winning. But so too was Jimmy Johnson. He left the University of Miami with a national championship, 44 wins in his last 4 years, and a keen eye for talent.
It kept Martin here. Actually, it had like a 9-yard average on punt returns. Really, Martin right player, right, from Boston College, had a good year, but should be really a good receiver in our offense.
The only problem was that Dallas had so little talent at which to look, except Herschel Walker. Walker rushed for over 1,500 yards in 1988. 5 games into Johnson's first season, he was traded.
I don't think that anybody could ever imagine what it ended up being for the franchise. When the trade first was made public, everybody thought that we were trading Herschel Walker, our only Pro Bowl player, for half a dozen players that were somewhat either mediocre or whose career was about over with the Vikings. They really didn't anticipate us getting all the draft picks that we got after we finalized the trade.
But that trade wouldn't be finalized for some time. And in '89, a circus act was on display in Dallas with all eyes fixed on the new ringleader. Johnson's Cowboys were victims of cheap shots.
Nick Lowry kicks off for the Chiefs. His leg's going to get tired.
And tough shots. And they victimized themselves by playing a laughable brand of football. Finally, 9 games into the season, Jimmy Johnson won his first NFL game.
3 tight ends, 2nd and goal. Jennings motion right. Walsh handoff. Palmer diving up top. Touchdown Cowboys. Here's your 0-16. The ball game is over, and Jimmy Johnson is one happy man.
The happiness was short-lived, as Johnson continued to take beatings both on and off the field.
I would have said something to Buddy, but he wouldn't stand on the field long enough. He put his big fat rear end into the dressing room.
I resent that. I've been on a diet. I lost a couple of pounds, and I thought I was looking good.
It got to the point where he needed police protection. Troy Aikman and company only could have wished for the same.
It was extremely difficult, and I think there was a very small nucleus of players that really continued to play throughout that whole season and then go into 90. And it was a very frustrating year. I don't know that anybody got through that season unscathed.
The first year or so, it was like a revolving door. People would run in and run out, and we'd have different guys on the team that we didn't even know. We had like tryouts on our off days here, and it was a kind of an unsettling feeling, kind of not too much security going around here at that time.
I know in one instance, we brought in a player on Monday, and we worked him out, and we signed him on Tuesday, and he was in the team picture on Thursday, played in the game on Sunday, and we cut him on Monday.
He was just feeling his way through the whole season as well as we were feeling our way through what he wanted. And that was probably as tough on him as it was on us also, because he couldn't quite figure it out why it wasn't coming together as quickly as it was when he was in college.
I was more influenced than what I should have been when I first came into pro football, that this is, quote, the way to do it. This is the pro way, the professional way. I realized that I needed to do it not just my way, but do what I believed in.
For an entire year, he was haunted by the Cowboys' past. Despite all the losses, though, he never compromised his passion for the way he felt football should be played. And because of that, he knew how different the future would be.
I said, obviously you're a tremendously confident person, but you have to have a few questions about yourself and your ability to do this after last year. What a humbling experience. And he looked me in the eye and he said, I have no doubt in my mind that we'll win here, and we'll win big. Write it down.
After the season was over, I'll never forget it. He came January, we had a big team meeting, and he came in and he just said, I apologize for the way the season went last year. It was as much my fault as it was your fault. And he said that we're starting the team now.
The first big dividend from the Walker trade arrived in 1990, Johnson's second season in Dallas. But these still were a young bunch of Cowboys who had a lot of growing up to do. They made many of the same mistakes they had the previous season, but at times they showed potential.
Bootleg left, throw it on the run, Novacek at the 10-yard line, to the 5, touchdown!
But in the NFL, there's a big difference between potential and wins.
It comes down to this. What a great win this would be for the Cowboys. Here it is, first and goal. Straight drop back. Cunningham pulls it down, pumps, throws it in the end zone. It's caught for a touchdown by
10 games into his second season, Johnson's Cowboys were going nowhere.
When you got a team that's 3-7 and looking to, hey, just, let's just pack it in. Your season is over and everybody start looking forward towards next year. This man comes in and he keep you focused on the next game at 3-7 when you're like, we're just here.
They were there, but now they were there together. They began to cultivate a personality which seemed suspiciously similar to that of Johnson's Miami teams. They still were stepped on by the big dogs, but at least now they bit back. And like a playful puppy with oversized paws, they stumbled and bumbled but never sat still.
Smith coming left, falls down, gets back up. You gotta be kidding me. I thought he was down. To the 1, to the goal line. Touchdown, Emmitt Smith.
In late November, they embarked on their first winning streak under Johnson.
Aikman back to throw, plenty of time, deep ball. Got Urban down the left sideline. He caught it at the 20, right to the 15, to 10. Michael Irvin, Cowboys touchdown. First and 10, Aikman handoff, Emmitt Smith breaks it to the 40, the 35 to 30. He'll never beat Green. There's the 20, the 15, the 10, the 5, touchdown, Emmitt Smith. He made Darryl Green miss.
Victories over the Rams and playoff-bound Redskins and Saints had Dallas thinking playoffs.
And Aikman, 5 steps, throwing for Urban, left corner of the end zone. He caught it for a touchdown.
A 41-10 thrashing of the Cardinals improved the Cowboys to 7-7. But when they went after win number 8, they got behind the 8 ball. They lost Troy Aikman to an injury in Philadelphia, and then fell in the season finale to Atlanta. But this team did a lot of growing up in 1990. Johnson's win-filled future seemed to be arriving way ahead of schedule, and his confidence level was soaring.
If you win
A crushing blow.
It won't happen. We'll be in the playoffs.
Anytime I think about the Cowboys in the last 5 years, I just think about the bravado and sheer confidence of Jimmy Johnson.
While in college, Jimmy Johnson aspired to become an industrial psychologist, which in a sense he did. His industry is football, and he's a firm believer in the power of positive thinking.
Everybody's into it. Started off right.
His biggest role is that he creates such a tremendous positive attitude.
Everybody's into it now.
And there are guys that literally believe, because of Jimmy's attitude, the way he sets the tempo for each week, that there's no way that they cannot win and succeed.
This is an attitude that he instills in all the guys.
Nice job there, Troy. Nice job. Good job in there, Michael.
An attitude that makes us go out there and figure that we can't be beat.
47 guys believing, 47 guys hanging in there for 4 quarters. Hey, super job, because you could have gotten down, you know, when they got on top of you, and you could have said, oh, here it goes again. But those days are over with. It's not going to be, here it goes again. 4 quarters of football, anything can happen. 4 quarters now, 4 quarters to it. 4 quarters.
He comes in and says, hey, we will do this and we will do that. This is what we will do, period.
What did I say? I said we beat the Redskins, but let me tell you something. And just like I said last week, what did I tell you last week? Last week I said, you know, that once you show up on Wednesday, we don't want to hear another word about Washington. Enjoy the thing tonight, but we don't want another thing about Washington. All I want to hear about Wednesday is the New York Giants.
Hey, if you hear that enough, you'll be like, yeah, we will do this and we will do that.
Coach Johnson talks about controlling your mind all the time.
Let the mind control the body, not the body controlling the mind.
If you can control your mind and get those negative thoughts out of there,
Right back. We're going to be fine. We'll get it right back.
think positively that this is another day to get better, then, gosh, you're going to have success, whatever you're doing.
Looking good, feeling good. Let the mind control the body, not the body control the mind. Fatigue makes cowards of us all.
Look, Jimmy was a psych major at Arkansas. He's got 149 IQ, knew exactly what he was doing, and I think he handled the team pretty well.
Let's go, let's go! Beautiful day in Austin. All right, all right. Russ, how are you doing today? Romping, stomping, raring to go? Stretch 'em out, stretch 'em out. I like it a lot. How about it, Darren? Did some nice things yesterday. Like a well-oiled machine. Here we go, here we go, here we go! I got you there. I got you there. Boom! All right. You know I let you do that. I don't want to embarrass you in front of the home crowd. Nice catch, Jimmy. Nice catch, Jimmy. That's a nice adjustment. Good job, Alvin. Isn't he pretty? Oh, Michael, 2 hands. Don't be cute. Don't be pretty. Be good. That's right. 2 hands count the same as 1 hand.
The best thing about Coach Johnson is, you got to respect and trust a man that tells you exactly what he wants. All he wants is everything you got every day in practice, in the game, in the film room. Hey, I can deal with that.
Okay, Michael, that's where to go get it. That's where to go get it, Michael.
That's basically what he said. You give me everything, and I'll back you 100% no matter what you do.
I think if you're sincere, I think if you really come across with how you feel, I think you motivate people. I don't believe in motivating in a phony way. I don't believe in a lot of cliches. I don't believe in going out there and have a lot of phrases and reading quotes from other people, but I do believe in being sincere with your players. All right, let's go, man. Let's go, man. Let's get geared up, get ready to go. Sharp, sharp. Good, right there, backside. All right, good job, Dick. There you go. Good job, Reggie. Let's go, Reggie. That's right, all right, Reggie. That's going to be square up in the hole. That's your play all the way.
He's taught me a lot. He's taught me a lot about football. He's taught me a lot about life, just with the way he approaches it, and being positive and being upbeat.
Hold on, Judd. Come on, Judd. Oh, ball. Come on, Judd. Hold on that damn football. God dog it. Come on, Judd. Get the handoff. Now, you got to protect that damn football. Come on, Judd. Come on, Judd. Bear down. Concentration. Concentration. Take it on, Bob. There we go. There's a nice tackle. There you go, Dixon. There you go, Dixon. That's the way to stick it in there. Nice job of wrapping him up. All right. That's way to protect the ball, Judd. Run through it now.
I really believe that players can respond to things if you put the pressure on them and you have that expectation yourself.
14-13, 10 seconds to go. We're behind the Redskins, RFK. All right, let's go, Lynn. We got to have it. We got to have it. Got a little wind behind you, got a little wind to the left. Got to be concerned about it. Let's go, Lynn. Focus in. Can you make it? Here we go. It's all on the line. That's the way to hit it. Good job, Lynn. Perfect. Right down the middle. Perfect, Lynn. Cowboys win, as always.
It's a psychology of high expectations. It's the self-fulfilling prophecy. We'll be in the playoffs.
In Johnson's third season, Dallas welcomes more dividends from the Walker deal and a host of other successful players via the draft. Russell Maryland and Alvin Harper were chosen in the first round. Linebacker Dixon Edwards was a second-round pick. Tackle Eric Williams was a steal in the third round, as was Leon Lett in the seventh. In the 12th round, Dallas found starting cornerback Larry Brown. These rookies grew into solid players in '91, while teammates Emmitt Smith and Michael Irvin matured into NFL superstars. Double 2 and double 8 meant double trouble for opponents. Smith and Irvin became the first teammates to lead the league in rushing and receiving yards in the same season.
Is it Michael Irvin or Michelangelo? Aikman, handoff Smith. And left tackle pops out to the 30. A block from right. Gets into the 40. Breaking right for the 45. Holy cow, what a great play. Touchdown, Emmitt Smith, 75 yards. Thank you very much. I don't believe the run.
The Cowboys had some of football's biggest stars. Now they had to prove they could beat the big boys of the NFL.
I think a year ago our guys were kind of crossing their fingers and hoping that they could win some games. I think the attitude now is that they expect to win games.
Expectation and determination were written all over Johnson's face as his team met the defending Super Bowl champion Giants.
The 8 bootleg by Hostetler, play fake, throws it out to Jared Bunch, the rookie at the 20. Fumble! Horton picks it up, 15, 10. Horton, touchdown, Cowboys! Well, the Giants are stunned, and I think a lot of the Cowboys are, and I certainly am. Aikman straight drop, throws right, Irvin in the side. Irvin, fighting Collins, touchdown, Michael Irvin!
The Cowboys had beaten one beast from the NFC East, but a more meaningful win over a more intimidating monster would tell them that they had arrived.
I think if there's one win that not only made them believe, but made the rest of the league believe, it's probably the November win against the Redskins at RFK, when the Redskins were clearly the best team in football. The thing that was great about that game is that Jimmy Johnson goes up to his players on Wednesday of that week, and he just keeps harping on, we're facing the big gorilla this week. And that was kind of his theme of the week. How do you beat a big gorilla?
I said, you can't just hit him lightly. I said, you've got to hit him with all you've got.
Now the Willis kick to Irvin. Oh, it's an onside kick, and it's loose. The Cowboys have recovered an onside kick. Oh, man, they are letting out all the stops today, and 3 receivers go right. Maybe they're going to go Big Ben. No rush, and they are Big Benning into the end zone. This will be a prayer up in the air, and it might be caught. It's a touchdown. It's a touchdown. Oh, Big Ben struck midnight. Oh, it's got to be your day when you hit that play. I think it's the biggest and the best Cowboys win since they beat the Giants in 1985 to win the NFC East.
I think the thing that Johnson convinced his players that day is that when I'm telling you that you're as good as the best team in football, believe it, because you are.
After that game, we just said, hey, we could play with anybody. We really can't play with anybody.
Super job of working. Hey, super job of believing.
just like what we talked about at practice. Hey, you know, when you ever go after a big gorilla, you don't ever hit him lightly. You hit him with everything you got. Yeah!
2 beasts down, 1 more to go. In 5 tries, Jimmy Johnson had never beaten the Eagles. His teams had been overmatched physically, but a victory in Philadelphia would put the Cowboys in the playoffs.
Anytime you're able to beat the big bully, it's satisfying. And without question, Philadelphia had bullied us the first couple of years that we were in the league.
Even with Troy Aikman out with an injury, the Cowboys prevailed.
Furline rolling right, wants to throw. Chase throws it on the run. He's caught. It's a touchdown.
And that sends everybody at the vet home, and it's going to send the Dallas Cowboys to the playoffs.
We showed them. We shot it.
A preseason prediction had become reality. The prophecy was fulfilled.
Cowboys, we're here, baby. We're here. We're here. Yeah. They rushed it and blocked.
In their first playoff game in 6 years, the young Cowboys won a defensive struggle with the Bears.
4th down and short. Toss right, Neil Anderson at the 5. He stopped at the 4. They lost a lot of yards. Harbaugh with 1:12 in the game. Back to throw. Little pressure now. Hit as he throws over the middle. Intercepted by Bill Bates at the 30-yard line. Bill Bates saves the day. And the Cowboys now just kill the last minute 4. And they go.
A week later, the Cowboys would lose in Detroit, but in just 2 years, they had improved from 1 win to a dozen. They were among the NFL's best. Only 1 goal remained for 1992, to win it all. When Bill Parcells' Giants dominated the NFL in 1990 and went on to win Super Bowl 25, they did it by playing power football.
Run with some power. Need some power, Jumbo.
In 1991, Joe Gibbs' Redskins ruled the league. They, too, played old-fashioned, down-in-the-dirt power football and won Super Bowl 26. Jimmy Johnson didn't care.
He didn't try to imitate the Giants or the Redskins. He tried to make a Dallas Cowboys team that was very similar to his University of Miami teams. Tremendously quick.
Good quickness there. Good quickness.
I was saying, you know what the rest of the division's saying about you, Jimmy. You can't outrun somebody to a division championship. This game is won with brawn. He looked at me and he says, Peter, he says, do you think I give a bleepity bleep what people think? I know we're going to win doing this.
All right, Derek. See, that's so fun. A little more quick. It's got to make that cut, Derek.
We don't accept that just because others have done it before us in a certain way, that's the way we're going to do it. We might research how the winners have done it in the past, but we're still looking for the edge of maybe a different way, in a unique way to get it done. That way we might be better than those that have come before us.
The Cowboys opened the 92 season against the Redskins and Giants. The goal was to beat the last 2 Super Bowl champs with speed and quickness.
Back takes it at his 21. Comes left, 25. There's a block. 30. There's a block. 40. There goes Kelvin Martin. This one's going 79 yards. Kelvin Martin. Touchdown.
Yo, man, speed. Unbelievable speed.
They are going to rush to Kelly Goodburn. Caught it. They blocked it in the end zone. Through the back of the end zone. For a safety. Big Racket blocked the punt. Robert Williams at the 4. Rolls to the goal line. Touchdown Cowboys. And the Cowboys have scored on...
The balance of power in the NFC. Power football had been replaced by speed football. After 3 years of intelligent drafts and trades, Jimmy Johnson had the team he wanted. No longer were the Dallas Cowboys
America's team.
Now they were Jimmy's team.
Showtime. You know what I mean? quickness. Good quickness. Tremendously quick.
The thing that I've always said about our players is I wanted them to be playmakers.
Playmaker! Come get with it, play! Come get with it!
I wanted them to have the quickness, to make a play, whether it be the quickness of a running back like Emmitt Smith to avoid a tackling.
The coverage makes a cut. Gets it. Oh, he's still going. He's going to score. He's got the 5. It's a touchdown. Emmitt Smith.
Or the quickness of a Russell Maryland to avoid a blocker and make a tackle.
He has got the greatest ability to put players in the right situations, to give them opportunities to become playmakers. He has the greatest knack of understanding personnel.
When you tell someone that he's a playmaker, when you have someone like Michael Irvin who's got it on his license plate,
The playmaker just made a major league play.
it's an expectation that he has. It's something that is almost ingrained in them, that they feel like that when the time comes, they will make the play.
Playmaker, what I do? Make plays.
That's what make plays, baby. Give me opportunity. Opportunity to make plays.
The guy is the best coach to come into the NFL probably since I've been alive. He's got a knack for getting every player to play at his peak.
We know if it's a 60-minute ball game, in time, our playmakers will come through for us.
Playmakers littered the field for Dallas in '92 on both sides of the ball. Johnson and his staff made defensive situation substitution a science. They sent fresh troops in constantly and ordered them to attack.
Ball back, hit by Haley, throws it, tipped, and intercepted by Horton from the 15 to the 10, and Ray Horton runs it in for the Cowboys touchdown. With a toss left, it's fumbled, and Russell Maryland grabs the fumble in midair and runs it in for the touchdown.
Dallas Cowboy defense, unconscious. Number one defense in the league. Number one defense in the league.
That number one defense led the 13-3 Cowboys to the playoffs, where once again they met their nemesis. Philadelphia was no match for the NFL's fastest and youngest team.
Irvin motion left, Aikman draw to Smith.
Super job. You are one game away from the Super Bowl.
Not exactly a beautiful day, but hopefully it will be here in about 4 hours.
A rite of passage, a passing of the torch, a beheading of an old king in favor of a new one. The team of the 80s was meeting the team of the 90s, and youth was being served. A pair of Emmitt Smith scores helped Dallas to a 4-point fourth-quarter lead with a little over 4 minutes remaining. Most coaches would have been conservative, trying to beat the Niners by beating the clock. But Jimmy Johnson isn't like most coaches.
Ability to take a risk gave us an opportunity to win a Super Bowl.
You can't be afraid to fail. I think it's a bigger sin not to at least take an advantage of an opportunity or take a chance than to go out there and maybe come up a little bit short, but at least try.
With the Cowboys' gambler of the past overlooking the gambler of the present, Dallas went for the win.
For the biggest drive in probably 12 years.
Gonna throw deep slant. Caught 35. Harper's breaking away. Harper's got midfield. Harper's got the 30. Harper's got the 20. Harper's got the 10-yard line. Wow.
Oh, Jimmy Johnson, you're a gambling fool sometimes.
He gambled by trading Herschel Walker. He gambled by making 46 trades in 4 years. He gambled by opting for speed over power. But is it gambling if you know you're going to win?
Everybody, you did one hell of a job, and the only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys?
Okay. How about them Cowboys, huh? It might be more colorful to tell you that I was consumed with tense, suspenseful thoughts, but there were none. Oh, I was excited and happy and anxious to get started, but as for the sort of feeling a commander has as a great battle, no, that had come 2 weeks earlier at San Francisco. It must have been a more tense time for the Bills than for us, because they'd been to 2 straight Super Bowls without a win. It would be 3 when this day was done. I knew that.
And in his 4th season with the Cowboys, head coach Jimmy Johnson.
I just wanted to lay that royal flush on the table and rake in all the chips.
You know, Coach Johnson comes in, he would tell you in the Super Bowl, the difference in the game will be turnovers. You know, I studied and I studied and I studied, and this will be the difference. We will have the turnovers, we will win the ball game. He didn't say if we make the turnovers, we'll win the ball game. He said we will get the turnovers and we will win the ball game. And we go into that game and boom, they start turning it over and we start going up. And we're like, man, you know, this is kind of wild, you know. He preaches about a lot of things, but you better believe what he preaches about is usually true.
Jimmy Johnson talked for 10 days about the importance of turnovers.
Well, here's Haley. Hit him and picked off in the air. Jimmy Jones intercepts and rolls in for a touchdown.
You know, we were just laying down the cards on the table, one by one. Ken of Hearts.
Going for the end zone. Novacek at the 2. Takes it in. Touchdown, Cowboys.
Jack of Hearts.
Aikman to Irvin. Dallas touchdown.
Queen of Hearts.
Aikman a draw to Smith. Coming left. Breaks those. Up to the 5. Turning at the 1. Touchdown, Emmitt Smith.
1 billion people watching on television weren't certain we held the rest of the cards, but we were.
Wow. What a ride it's been. Jimmy Johnson's taken his team from the absolute worst to the absolute best.
I figured as hard as we worked for that, why take it off just for a football game?
I think we've got a great chance of going all the way again this year for the simple fact that Jimmy's not going to let us let down.
I told the team just in the offseason, I said, hey, we had a great team last year. We won the Super Bowl. But we will be a better football team next year, and we will be.
Repeat might be the scariest word for a football team. It means expectations have already been set, and anything less than last year means failure. Dallas began to learn that lesson in week 1.
More than anything else, I was frustrated because I knew we had a great football team and we were missing a big part of that team. I probably hurt our team somewhat in that I had it in the back of my mind that Emmitt was going to show up even a day or two before the opener against the Redskins and everything was going to be all right. Knowing the talent on our football team and knowing the opportunity that we had in front of us, I saw the opportunity slip through our fingers. Oh, boy.
Now it's Emmitt Smith time.
Once Emmitt came to town, everybody was positive that we were going to go out and win ball games.
How you doing? Sorry, I got in the season a little bit late, but I think we can put this thing together and go on and win it all.
First touchdown of the year for Emmitt Smith. 22 yards for number 22.
Boy, Emmitt Smith, that's all we want to see. Emmitt Smith.
Despite a 2-game holdout, Emmitt was on his way to a 3rd straight rushing title. What he wanted was a 2nd straight Super Bowl.
62-yard touchdown, Emmitt Smith retired the trophy.
Cowboys were winning and, naturally, gambling. But just when Johnson's finely tuned machine seemed to be racing towards another Super Bowl, the wheels started to fall off.
Aikman's hurt at the 50-yard line.
Aikman and Smith both went down with injuries. And Thanksgiving Day, the nation watched the Cowboys' woes snowball into another letdown.
It's a 41-yarder. It's a first down kick. And it's blocked. It's blocked and rolling around at the 10-yard line. Jimmy Jones got the block and no one. Yes! Oh, Leon Lett. Leon Lett.
The once ultra-confident Johnson was now hoping for wins.
I just want an ugly win. Somehow, some way.
With 5 weeks to go in the season, Johnson watched the 7-4 Cowboys return to their winning ways, thanks in large part to the development of more young, fast talent.
3rd and 4 at the 27. Esiason in 3 steps, throws to his right. Kevin Smith intercepts the left side.
Kevin Smith, the team's top pick in the '92 draft, was yet another dividend from the Walker deal. And '93's #1 pick, Kevin Williams, helped beat the Redskins and set up a division title showdown in the season finale in New York.
Kevin Williams, 62 yards for his second punt return touchdown as a rookie.
Jimmy Johnson down here, just smiling. Jimmy Johnson, got that smirk on his face. We're going to shut it up.
Listen, get a great day for it. Good luck to you. Hopefully we'll see you next.
All right, good luck in the playoffs.
3rd down and a long 2, and Aikman with a draw to Smith. Coming right first down. 25 to 30. A lot of room at the 40. Chased at the 40 of the Giants. And hauled down at the 35. And Smith is down. Emmitt Smith is down at the Giants 30.
A severe shoulder separation stalled Emmitt Smith, but it couldn't stop him. His heroic performance gave the Cowboys a chance for a win.
41 yards, good snap, the hold is up, the kick's on the way. Cowboys win. What a great...
5 weeks ago, or 6 weeks ago, we had a little meeting after Thanksgiving and we said this. If you lay it on the line and you win out, you'll win the division 2nd year in a row, and that'll give us a hell of a shot to get to where we want to go. Hey, you've been under the gun. You've been under the pressure. You had to do it on the road. One hell of a job.
The Cowboys opened the '93 playoffs with a dominant performance over the Packers. They had won 6 in a row and seemed to be rolling along comfortably with the cruise control set. But Jimmy Johnson wanted them to shift to a higher gear.
We will win the ball game, and you can put it in 3-inch headlines. We will win the ball game.
When you have things going smoothly, you sometimes need to create a crisis. I think that if you're not careful when things are going really good, you can look around and all of a sudden you're going backward instead of forward. I felt like that our team was a little bit uptight. I felt like our team needed something to get a spark against a great San Francisco team, and so I made a very bold statement. But it's a situation where I wrote the check and the players, they cashed it.
Back to throw, short slant. Oh, Harper caught it. He's breaking away. 20. He's going to score. Touchdown. Dallas is going to win the NFC Championship again, and we'll never know, thank heaven, how Jimmy Johnson would have responded. Jimmy said we would win the game, didn't we? Hey, 3 and 4 11. Hey, I don't guarantee the win, right? I guess you take that check there.
Now, I've been doing a lot of talking, but the things that you said, if you're going to talk, you got to walk the walk. Hey, thanks to you guys, y'all did the walking, all right? Hey, and one thing, this week I'm not going to say a word. You know how I feel, but I'm not going to say a word, but I will say one thing right now. How about them Cowboys?
Dallas Cowboys are going to win it all, walk to walk, talk to talk, you know it. So, here we are again, same time next year. The Dallas Cowboys and the Buffalo Bills, and this time in Super Bowl 28 at the Georgia Dome in downtown Atlanta.
Super Bowl 28 began in much the same way the '93 season did itself for the Cowboys. But Jimmy Johnson wouldn't allow the subpar play to continue. He was too driven to go to a Super Bowl and lose.
Two things motivate me as far as, you know, my job. The absolute fear of losing, the absolute misery that you go through when you lose a ball game. And the biggest thing that drives me is to see players work and work as hard as any group that you've ever been around, and to see them achieve that success. That's what's always driven me.
To the 30, to the 20, cuts right. Waits for a convoy to the 15. Washington to the 5.
In typical Cowboy style, playmakers appeared, and Johnson gave them their chances to excel.
Hold your breath, everybody. 4th and goal at the 1. Left, pitch left to Smith, block from Johnson. Touchdown, Emmitt Smith.
The ecstasy of those players after they've won a ball game, to see their emotions after winning a Super Bowl, you know, that's a feeling that very few people ever experience, and that's what's driven me more than anything else.
He was a wizard at winning, but his true wizardry was that he loved becoming a winner even more.
We don't ever live our lives right down the middle. We're either here or we're there. And let me just say to all of you, when my day comes, I'd like for people to say he had a passion for living.
You all rested up after that day off, right? You'll be flying around everywhere today. Now, are you going to stay a good guy when everybody starts singing your praises and everybody starts writing all these great stories about you?
Yeah, I'm sure.
You still going to work hard?
It's one thing to know that a man is trying to sack you, and you still can't stop it. You see what I'm saying? That's what I try to tell people. You know, you knew what he was doing, you knew what he was trying to do, but you still couldn't stop it.
Hey, I know you're going to play good. I know you're going to perform. I know that you're going to make the play. I know that you're going to catch the football. And he works. It can't just be rhetoric. It's got to be work.
Here we go, off and top and pick up both knees, run pretty. Run like you got a little bit of energy about you. Protect that football, Bernie. Running in traffic, protect that football now. Here we go. Dominate that line of scrimmage. Dominate the line of scrimmage. Let's go.
Sometimes I feel like I'm in that movie Full Metal Jacket, the way he's screaming and going on out there.
Sometimes he's your worst nightmare, sometimes he's your best friend. He tolerates no mistakes, no penalties, and he'll be the first one to jump down your throat. And you know when he's coming. You can hear his voice.
Discipline. Discipline. You're going to be disciplined enough to stay on time. Discipline. Let's go.
It challenges you, and it really challenges your manhood. Do you really want to play this game?